Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Azzakye. I'm going to be bringing to you another video for Conqueror's Blade, published by, this time, Porous Interactive. This will be, another lore video, although I won't be reading anything. For more or less, I think this will probably be, I'm not sure if this will be the last lore video, but, I think this will probably be, I think probably moving forward, I don't think I'm going to have any reading parts. I'm more or less going to be documenting the lore pieces that we do get throughout the seasons from season. That's as long as Porous Interactive decides to not release a lore version of, of their own. So in the end, I hope you guys enjoy this next piece of lore for the season of Scorpio. I know I will. I do love some of the stories throughout from what I've read and throughout what I'm listening to now. So with the with the seasons come to an end, so I hope you guys will enjoy. This will be a much shorter video than the previous ones, but nevertheless, let's hopefully get these story along. So, week 1.
Aaron knew that he was almost certainly walking to his death, but the legendary Shahiri warrior had no choice. The assassination of the Emperor during the finale of the Gladiator tournament had led to a full-scale diplomatic crisis, as evidence found on the bodies of the assassins suggested that the Shahiri people were responsible for the attack.
All of this was for nothing. Aziz was adamant that our leader, General Hashem, was behind the murder plot against his father. And now, war between our countries is inevitable. His advisor handed me a scroll, an imperial decree granting me safe passage home. But now the lives of our people are at stake, and the city of Suleiman will be their first target. Is this really what you wanted? I tried to shield you as I could when we were serving together, and even when you betrayed the general. You were my comrade, my best friend, and more. Zena, what have you done?
So, according to the imagery, it does look like the assassin has been named. Or, so, the assassin, I can assume, that killed the Emperor, called Zena, or one of them, at the very least.
In her dreams, Zana saw every shade of terror in his eyes. The man who was running for his life from the massacre in the Colosseum. Did he really have to die? Was he a threat after all? Zana thought little about this, but those eyes were coming for her again and again in her nightmares. Was it the right choice? But each time she looked at her compatriots who put their lives on the line, she was reminded that there was no other choice.
So he came, begging on his knees before that pup, who calls himself an emperor, to not start a war. Aaron, you are pathetic. The tyrant who organized those so-called games was a monster, feeding off the lives of common people. General Hashem shall be next. I shall never forget how he burned down the villages and killed innocents in the name of fighting rebels. Those people were but elders and children. Nobody can make him pay the price except for the guild. But there are little rats too. Vicious scum sitting at the city hall in their finery, destroying the last bits of life and hope in my land, in my hometown. My dear city of Suleiman, the time of judgment is coming for them, and I am its instrument.
This first part is might actually be referring to the person that we were following in the previous story for for the season of Colosseum, um, which is quite interesting. Quite interesting that they would add this here as some kind of regret that she has. Not sure. Um, Not sure if she sounds like she's regretful or melancholic of what she's done. Obviously, she has her reasons. Continuing on.
Thanks to Aaron's leadership, the city of Suleiman didn't fall on that day. A huge blow to the ego of Emperor Aziz and his army. He was confident that he could just parade through Suleiman with those limited forces he had gathered together in just a week. Aziz clearly underestimated Aaron and the ferocity and discipline of his Janju, the core of the Shahir army. But their victory came at a high price, as the city councilors made women and even children take up arms to protect the city. And those same councilors cowered in safety while the battle raged outside.
We won, but it won't be the last of them. They wanted to humiliate us and our land just by showing up. We taught them what it feels like to fight true Shahiri, even though General Hashem's reinforcements didn't arrive when we needed them. No doubt, Aziz will attack us again and again, so we must rest and prepare for what is to come, and to sing songs for our brothers and sisters who fell in battle. We shall remember their sacrifice.
Alright, so we've moved away from the previous capital city and moved to a city called Suleiman. And obviously, it looks like a new emperor has been crowned. So I'm not even entirely sure if this emperor is related to the previous emperor that we just killed. But the weird thing here is that Aron should have visited the emperor, saying that they were a non-threat. Immediately afterwards, he goes over to Suleiman. Or maybe I'm just reading this wrong. It just seems weird.
In her dreams,
or is this history? Oh, okay. I might be reading this wrong. Okay, so week 1. Okay, so it's a little, the timeline's a little bit scuffed by this. So week 1 is the events of the thing, I think. Week 2 is Anna's thoughts after the assassination. Oh, now I'm getting confused. No, 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 no. Hi, 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 hi. So were they unsuccessful? Okay, so okay, no. My first thought was correct. So they tried to assassinate the emperor. Aziz is the emperor, or well, I mean, like, is the emperor, or like became the emperor afterwards, but probably is the emperor. Did well, so the assassination was unsuccessful. Um, Surprising, since they kind of talk like they're moving on to the next target, which is absolutely botched because they fucked up because they screwed up the first assassination. And obviously, moving on from that, we get an implication that Hashem is the next person to be assassinated, but um, maybe I'm forgetting something from the last lore reading from the Colosseum, because the Emperor as is he Azir Aziz um is our main antagonist with this part. So Aaron tries to go tell them that they're a non-threat. Yeah, the Emperor shows up. He gets bullied by the Jangjus. I mean, like, it's really cool how the Jangjus here are a militia force. So quite uh, that's quite cool how they're just integrated into the story like this. But I am interested to see if there were going to be female soldiers or a children's soldier. Nah, they would never introduce a child soldier into this.
Thanks to
So,
there was an eerie atmosphere in the air. Thanks
okay, so like, um, anyway, continuing on to the next section. So sorry if that was that little intermission there. We just had Aaron just defeat the soldiers from the Emperor that uh went to Suleiman. So the Shahidi people are accused of assassinating the Emperor, or attempting to at this point. Or they did assassinate the Emperor, and this new acting Emperor is going to try to kill them. Continuing on,
There was an eerie atmosphere in the air the night after the battle, as the warriors of Suleiman bowed their heads in remembrance of their brothers and sisters. Some sang a song of mourning. The beautiful melody lasted but for a few moments before it was interrupted by the screams and the sounds of murder. Xana's guild followers, the Hashashans, had made their move. Aaron bellowed orders to protect the city council at all costs, only to see a painfully familiar woman slit the throat of the chief counselor. It was Xana. She yelled in triumph, and at that moment, Hashashans began to flee. Aaron gave chase, but could only watch Xana escape into the narrow streets. Before she disappeared, they exchanged glances, and both knew that their paths would cross again.
Throwing away the lives of children just to protect all their treasures. Monsters, all of them. But the people of Suleiman had the last laugh. These people I love don't have the strength to free themselves, so the guild shall take it in hand.
ah,
There
shit,
was
I
an
pressed the
eerie
button.
atmosphere in the air the night after the battle, as the warriors of Suleiman bowed their heads in remembrance of their brothers and sisters. Some sang a song of mourning. The beautiful melody lasted but for a few moments before it was interrupted by the screams and the sounds of murder. Xana's guild followers, the Hashashans, had made their move. Aaron bellowed orders to protect the city council at all costs, only to see a painfully familiar woman slit the throat of the chief counselor. It was Xana. She yelled in triumph, and at that moment, Hashashans began to flee. Aaron gave chase, but could only watch Xana escape into the narrow streets. Before she disappeared, they exchanged glances, and both knew that their paths would cross again.
Throwing away the lives of children just to protect all their treasures. Monsters, all of them. But the people of Suleiman had the last laugh. These people I love don't have the strength to free themselves. So the guild shall take it in hand by killing all of Hashem's rats. Aaron, I missed you. But don't you dare stand between me and my people.
Yep, sorry about that. I mean, I don't, I just slip of the finger there. Anyway, continuing on next. So it does look like more civil unrest caused by the assassinations for the Hashashims from the top level. And this is quite common, in fact. Assassinations of high-ranking officials are more impactful at destabilizing the situation than it is for lower ranked people to be assassins. I mean, I think lower ranked people get killed all the time back in medieval times, and the situation doesn't usually change. So normally people feel like when you get rid of the top layer, um, you can more or less get rid of the root of the corruption. But what actually happens is that getting rid of the top layer only creates the power vacuum, and eventually it's filled in by the lackeys who remain. So in the end, you're just constantly just killing off corruption as it comes. So in the end, what really needs to happen is probably, I'm guessing, Arun's going to take over eventually. I do think that it does lead to a story where it's a little bit melancholic, where Xana, being the assassin, can never come out into the light, and Arun, he's actually trying to do what's right. Um, but I'm pretty sure the righteous man gets taken advantage of by all of these people. Anyway, continuing on to the next.
The city council, most of the officers, and many of the Janju guards didn't make it through the night. It was a blow to Hashem's regime and to him personally. As columns of elite camel lancers arrive at Suleiman, Aaron is presented with a dilemma.
I had the city watch tear this town apart to find them, but the assassins were gone. Xana and her blasted followers shall pay the price. The troops Hashem promised us arrived, and their captain brought me a sealed message. Shahiri cannot fight two foes. Find the traitor Xana, or I shall, and then hang you next to her. I sent the camel lancers out into the wilderness to find the hideout these jackals must have nearby. But Aziz and his dogs are still on our doorstep. Suleiman is vulnerable, and the city will fall if we leave it. But I cannot let Xana escape and carry out her mad plot. I must make a decision.
So we have the Camel Lancers make an appearance. Probably just they're obviously the elite troops under the command of Hashim. Well, anyway, it does look like Aaron's left with no choice but to pursue Xana in hopes to prevent more civil unrest, and he must return before the Suleiman gets destroyed by the Emperor.
In a ruined village east of Suleiman is where the guild members made their hideout. 2 years on, the bloodbath that happened here is still haunting this land. Vicious Janju beating people up, camel lancers punishing innocents, helpless people screaming for help, crying children running for their lives, the flames covering everything around, and the cold eyes of General Hashem observing this scene. These memories shall never leave Xana's mind.
That dog Hashem may believe that the city is lost and leaderless after the death of his counselors, but I would never leave my dear Suleiman defenseless. Even now, Our followers are organizing the people for the defense of our city. They shall fight for our land, not for the general's bloody ambitions or the greed of his henchmen. I wish I could be with them, but as long as that scum Hashem lives, nothing shall change. Even if we defeat Aziz 1,000 times, I must reach the capital, Azzakye, to put an end to General Hashem and his sick regime forever.
So it does look like the Hashashim doing a little bit of espionage, getting their people or preparing people to be the defenders of their land. And now we have a contingent going towards the capital city to take out General Hashim, as probably Aaron's going on a wild goose chase here, as he is unable to actually leave the city to chase after Zana. But it would be interesting as if he does chase Zana all the way to this capital city.
Zana realized that she and the guild followers had little time to act. Camel Lancers rushed into the village and violence consumed this place once again. The Hashashins were prepared to defend themselves, but were hopelessly outnumbered. A few stayed behind to delay the enemy, giving Zana and the rest a chance to escape.
She escaped again. They used this ruined village as a hideout. I wonder why. It was a dangerous decision. We took them by surprise, but still, they were prepared as ever. Those who were left behind are dead. They were responsible for killing Suleiman's leaders. They were renegades, traitors of our way, but their deaths give me no satisfaction. Why had it come to this? We are killing our own kin. There is no turning back from here.
As you can tell, like, Aaron's obviously the good guy. He doesn't want to kill. Well, he doesn't see the reason in killing the Hashashim. Although like the Hashashims are assassinating the higher ranked people, it's not like they're evil. I think what probably not said is that Aaron probably realizes the amount of corruption inside their system and disassociates the killing of the High Counselor as being part of the people. So he sees that him chasing after the Hashashim as just killing their own kin, or again civil war in on themselves. So it's the Hashashims are killing other Shahiris, and he's killing the Hashashims, which are also Shahiris, and it's just like a vicious cycle of killing your own. But anyway,
Zana and her followers knew they couldn't run forever. The Camel Lancers were far behind, but led by tenacious Aaron, who they knew would never stop before he had destroyed the guild. The guild leaders approached Zana with a plan to mislead Aaron and his Camel Lancers back to Suleiman, allowing her to slip away to the capital and complete the final chapter of General Hashem's tyranny.
I have my chance to get to General Hashem. Aaron will pursue my comrades to Suleiman, without knowing that I am coming to behead the snake. Suleiman, before I thought that we were strong enough to bring freedom without your help. But now we need you. All of Shahir needs you. The time has come. It is now or never. Javid, Farhad, Yazdan, though you shall not survive this, you are sacrificing your lives on the altar of our people's freedom, and I shall never forget you.
so a very powerful self-sacrifice and misdirection here, because the Shashims know that they are the enemy, And even as they get pursued by their supposed kin, they they aim to finish or to succeed in the goal of having Aaron defend Suleiman here, and as Xana goes off to kill the tyrant, well, the general in this case. So I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure if Aaron was the implied defender for Suleiman in the first place, or whether or not they have other contingencies. But definitely does seem Aaron's finally been roped into a bigger, well, supposedly bigger plan that the Assassins have been preparing. So anyway, on to week 9. We've only got 2 more weeks left. Let's listen to what they've got to say.
As Aaron's forces were returning to Suleiman, he quickly realized that something was different. The guild leaders had done their job, inspiring the people of Suleiman. They protected their city from the invaders, and now they were looking to fight the general's henchmen who had helped him oppress them for years. Aaron threw everything he had at the city. Genju, camel lancers, war machines. He was looking for a quick victory against the weakened garrison, but in the heat of the moment, the camel lancers backed off, leaving Aaron in a difficult position. Despite the setback, Aaron managed to succeed, yet Xana was nowhere to be seen.
How did they do this? Suleiman. Those camel lancers, they turned their backs and fled in the heat of battle. Was it Hashem's plan all along? Did he suspect me of helping Xana? I would never betray him. But Xana, she wasn't in Suleiman. Did she leave her people for certain death? No. It is not like her. It doesn't make any sense. That could mean only one thing.
Interesting. So the elite camel lancers go off. Does look like Jangjus was the only one that stayed. So the guild prepared the garrison to defend the city. I mean, in this case, another war fighting your own kin again. So the weird thing here is now that moving on to the next step, I don't see why Aaron would be the leader that the Shahir needs, as at this point he's probably the same as the general. He just came to take over the place again. But I'm gonna have to just leave it to what we hear. I do think the garrison fighting against Aaron is kind of a misstep in the story, mainly because it just makes it more difficult for the people to like Aaron.
In the capital city, Aaron rushed through the palace like in a dream. He stepped over the bodies of the guards lying around. Aaron entered the throne room and found Xana standing over the lifeless body of the general. An unreadable expression was frozen on the dead man's face. Without hesitation, Aaron drew his sword and attacked. The warriors fought hard, evenly matched and unfaltering.
You fool! Behold the fruit of our efforts.
Xana, you shall pay the price for the innocents you have killed.
What innocence? Those who slaughtered women and children. Those who mocked and robbed and stole everything. Thieves that were swimming in the gold where our people starved.
You must stop. This killing must stop. Where did it get you? All your followers, your comrades, they are all dead. Was it worth it?
For people I love, for Shahiri, my life is nothing.
You betrayed our values, our way of life.
Our way of life. Hashem cast you aside like a broken tool. Is that the great way of life you were so looking toward? Weak.
What are you talking about? Nonsense. He couldn't.
But he did. He never valued you. He used you. His dying words were, as I speak, Aaron's corpse is already rotting in the sands.
Liar! You are trying...
I don't have time for this. If you're so eager to kill me, try to keep up with me first. Maybe you can, for some time. Or you could do something useful instead. Our people need a leader. A warrior who may not have lost his sense after all. Our people already saw the last of Hashem. It's up to you.
In the next moment, Zana escaped through the open window, leaving Aaron behind, wondering.
We are on our knees. For the first time in many years. Miserable, ravaged, and weakened. Killing each other like animals. But we still have another chance to make it right. I shall lead my people to the new life they were longing for all those years.
So I was kind of right. It does look like Aaron is intended to be the leader of the Shahidi. Or those that are in Suleiman at the very least. Again, it's just very strange that the course of events are very strange. First, the Camel Lancers, I think is okay. So like later on, we find out that first point of contention is that I don't like how Aaron had to take over the city again. He actually still fought the battle and succeeded. Secondly, the Camel Lancers left without killing Aaron. So that is the weird thing. So the Camel Lancers just turned tail and ran. Supposedly supposed to be back to the general, but when they came back, it's just like they didn't even do their job. So that's just the weird thing. And then finally, it's just Xana's definitely intends Aaron here to be the leader. I don't know where she's gone off to now, so that's just kind of a weird thing. But all of it's just the ending just gives closure to no one, but it kind of gives Aaron the resolve. I guess it kind of makes sense. So maybe it would be explained more with Aaron's like an Aaron story where he tries to bring the Shahidi people and not those just in Suleiman together, because with the general dead, you would assume that whatever regime that was built on the power of the general is going to break apart. But it also is kind of strange how if the social political situation for the Shahidi is just very strange. So it does sound like the Shahidis were kind of a vassal of the Emperor, and the Hashem was the commander of the state, which had the most Shahidi people. Supposedly he answered directly to the Emperor, and obviously suppressed this. Well, actually, no, that would make no sense either. If it is a vassal state, then then Hashem probably holds the exact same power as like a king in this case, supposedly starting a rebellion, which is very strange. But anyway, that is the story for the season of Scorpio. I mean, quite interesting how. I mean, The Jiangzus here are not really.
Does anyone have a whetstone?
It doesn't look like frontline material. These guys are implied to be kind of like the main force, and it does look like, they are the main force of the Shahidi. But I mean, as much as I give the story crap, I do think it's quite interesting to know about the events that happens, or the events that are implied throughout Scorpio. But that's all that's all the lore that I have for you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you for the next season. We're going to China again, probably. I'm not sure how the events of the next season are going to tie into the events of this season, as we kind of had a sort of series. Well, I mean, a trilogy here, from Helheim connecting into the Colosseum, connecting into the season of Scorpio. So this trilogy has been quite entertaining, I would say. Moving away from moving kind of like moving away from the tie-ins, from just simply just being a little bit of event. I think the Colosseum and the Scorpio season have a much more a much more tight-knitted story than it was for the Helheim seasons, as the guards as the guards of, well, I mean, obviously, like, the Helheim kind of was in this completely separate thing, kind of separate piece all on its own. So you just had the Colosseum and obviously the Scorpio season kind of being the really two seasons that mesh together as a continuous story. So it's going to have to be very interesting to see what happens next. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But other than that, my name's Azzakye, and have a nice day. I'll catch you guys another time. Bye for now.